Okay, today we're going to talk about adding and subtracting mixed numbers. So today let's go ahead and look at our scenario. It says that Cy and Cadence are driving to the Grand Canyon. On the first day, Cy drove 2 1/3 hours and Cadence drove 1 1/2 hours. The question asks, how much longer did Cy drive than Cadence? So, if we're going to set this up in a mathematical way, in a sentence, we can totally tell that we are going to use what operation? What are we going to do in order to solve this problem? Yes, ma'am?
Subtract.
We're going to definitely be subtracting. We've got two numbers that we're going to subtract. We have 2 1/3, and we have 1 1/2. Right? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take 2 1/3, because clearly we can see that Cy drove longer, right? Because Cy drove 2 1/3 and Cadence drove 1 1/2. So we're going to be taking 1 1/2 from 2 1/3. So wouldn't we agree that that would look something like this?
Can I choose the rest of the questions?
Okay, so we have 2 1/3 minus 1 1/2. So I think we can all agree that before we can even start subtracting, we definitely have to find a common denominator. We have to rename the fraction parts of each one of these numbers, right? So if I want to change 1/3 and 1/2 to have the same denominator, I'm going to look at 3 and 2. I can tell that a common denominator between 3 and 2 would be 6. Do you guys agree that it would be 6?
Yes.
Good. Okay. So in order for me to change my denominator from 3 to 6, I had to multiply 3 times 2. Well, if I do that to my bottom number, I have to do it also to the top. 1 times 2 is 2. So now I have renamed 1/3 as 2 6. What would I rename 1/2 as 6 as my denominator? Yes, sir.
1 3/6.
1 3/6. Don't we agree that 3 6 is also equal to 1/2? Okay. So one thing I want you to take notice of, all right? We want to look at our fractions first. Do you notice how we have 2 6 minus 3 6?
We have to swap.
What's going on here? Can I just flip the two fractions? Can I just flip those two and just subtract them?
No.
No.
Then it would be a negative.
So I notice that I can't take 3 6 away from 2 6. So what I've got to do yet again is I'm going to have to take something from my whole number. Right? Can I represent 2 1/6 differently? I can. So, can I take away 1 whole from 2? Yes, I can. If I take away 1 whole from 2, that would leave me with what?
1.
That would leave me with 1. But that 1 whole that I took out, I have to put back over here. So if I take out 1 whole from 2, I'm going to make that 1 whole look like 6 over 6, just so that I keep the same denominator. Do you see what I did here? I'm subtracting 6 over 6, or 1 from 2. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that back over in my fraction area.
What if you just gave the extra 1 to the other?
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 6 to 2, which is 8 sixths. So do you see how 1 8 sixths is the same as 2 2 6?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes, indeed, that's a good point. Somebody just pointed out that 8 6 is an improper fraction. Yes, it is. but that just means we're just representing 2 and 2 6 in a different way for the purposes of subtraction. Minus 1 and 3 6. Now is it safe to do our subtraction?
Yes.
Yes, let's do our fraction part first. 8 minus 3 is what, my friends?
5.
And then I just keep 6 as my denominator. 1 minus 1 is what? 0. 5 6. I want to make sure and ask myself, do I need to reduce 5 6? Is there one number that will divide both 5 and 6 at the same time? No. Therefore, 5 6 is my final answer.
Don't you have to add a 1 since you took away
1. I did. That's a good question. He says, don't I have to add 1 to my final answer? The answer to that is no, because I took 1 away from my whole number here, but all I did was I regrouped it in my fraction part. That's where this improper fraction came from, but that was a very good question. So 1 and 6/8 equals the exact same thing as 2 6. It just looks a little different. So this is how we regroup using mixed numbers. So the answer to our question, the answer is let me adjust it. Drove 5/6 hours longer than Cadence. Five, 6 hours longer than Cadence. Okay. So, regrouping with mixed fractions. We literally just took 1 from 2, and I represented that 1 as 6/6, because remember what we talked about? Any number over itself just equals 1. Why did I choose 6? Because I already have 6 as my denominator. Why wouldn't I use 6? Wouldn't that just make our life a little easier? Good. Okay, so we're going to continue to practice this.